The silence of the Grandview Public Library was a living thing. It wasn't an empty silence, but a dense, velvety quiet, thick with the scent of aging paper and polished oak. Alara Vance, head librarian and self-appointed guardian of this quiet, moved through the towering aisles of the history section with a familiar, reverent rhythm. Her footsteps were soft, measured clicks on the marble floor, a metronome in the cathedral of knowledge. It was her favorite time, the late evening shift after the last patron had been gently ushered out. The colossal reading room was bathed in the amber glow of brass desk lamps, their light pooling on empty tables, leaving the vaulted ceiling to drown in shadow. Her current task was a satisfying one, reconciling the physical card catalog with the new digital system. It was a tedious job most of the staff avoided, but for Alara, it was a form of archaeology. She was holding history in her hands. The brittle, yellowed cards filled with the elegant, looping cursive of librarians long gone. It was in the W drawer that she found the anomaly. A single card, slightly thicker, its edges more worn than its neighbors. The title, stamped in faded black ink, read, Whispers of the Void. The author was listed as anonymous, but it was the due date that made her breath catch. Stamped in crimson ink that had dulled to the color of old blood was a date. October 17th, 1974. 50 years. This book had been missing for half a century. A thrill, part professional outrage and part sheer curiosity, shot through her. She cross-referenced the book's code and made her way deep into the library's underbelly, to the restricted access stacks. The air grew cooler, damper. The modern fluorescent lights gave way to bare, low-wattage bulbs that swung gently in some unfelt draft, casting long, dancing shadows. The book was exactly where its code said it should be, nestled between a dense tome on Mesopotamian folklore and a treatise on deep-sea cartography. It was thinner than she expected, bound in a peculiar, dark leather that seemed to absorb the light. There was no title on the spine. Hesitantly, she pulled it from the shelf. It was cold to the touch. Back at her desk under the warm glow of her lamp, the incongruity was even more pronounced. The book felt wrong. She opened the front cover. The checkout card was still in its sleeve, and a single, trembling signature was scrawled there. Alistair Finch. October 3, 1974. He was the last, and only, borrower. As she lifted the card, a small, folded slip of paper, brittle with age, fluttered onto her desk. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Unfolding it carefully, she saw a message written in the same frantic hand as the signature. Asterisk, it has no story to tell. It has only an appetite. Do not read it. It sees you when you touch the pages. A.F. Alara stared at the note, a cold knot tightening in her stomach. This wasn't just an overdue book. It was a mystery. Working late again. Miss Vance. Quote. She jumped, nearly knocking her tea over. Mr. Sterling, the library's longtime custodian, stood a few feet away, his shadow stretching long and thin across the floor. He held a push broom, his hands, gnarled and speckled with age, resting on the handle. His face, usually a placid mask of quiet competence, was unreadable. Just catching up on some filing, she said, instinctively covering the note with her palm. This book, it's 50 years overdue. Quote. Mr. Sterling's eyes, pale and sharp in his wrinkled face, flicked down to the dark volume. A strange stillness came over him. Some books are best left forgotten. Miss Vance, I can take care of that for you. We can mark it as lost. Quote. His tone was too casual, too practiced. It only fueled her resolve. That's quite all right, Mr. Sterling. I'm intrigued. I'd like to see what the archives say about it. Quote. A flicker of something, annoyance, Concern crossed his features. The archives are a mess. Dusty. No place for you. Quote, "It's a librarian's place," she said with a firmness that surprised her. "I'd like to see the acquisition ledger for 1974. Now. Please." Quote, "For a long moment, they stood in a silent battle of wills. The only sound the slow, rhythmic tick of the grand clock above the entrance. Finally, Mr. Sterling gave a slow, almost imperceptible nod. "As you wish." Quote, he led her to a small, windowless office behind the circulation desk. A room that smelled of lemon polish and old regrets. He produced a heavy, brass key and unlocked a tall, wooden cabinet filled with massive, ledger-style books. He pulled out the volume for 1970 to 1979. Its spine cracking in protest as he laid it on the small table. 1974, he said, his voice a low rumble. He opened the book, the pages whispering secrets as they turned. He found the page and stepped back, his work seemingly done. Alara leaned in, her finger tracing down the lines of meticulous script, recording acquisitions, donations, and accessions. She found the entry for Whispers of the Void easily. It was listed as a donation from a private collector in September of 1974. But it was the line below that made her blood run cold. In the notes column, in the same elegant script as the rest of the ledger, was a single, chilling sentence. First borrower, Eleanor Shaw. Status, deaccessioned. Asterisk, Eleanor Shaw. Alara knew that name. She was a local woman who had vanished without a trace in the winter of '74. It was one of the town's oldest cold cases. Her hands trembling, Alara began flipping back through the ledger, her eyes scanning frantically. She found another entry from 1958, another from 1932, another from 1901. Each time, Whispers of the Void was listed, donated by the same private collector. And each time, the first person to check it out was noted as deaccessioned. Her mind, a well-oiled catalog of information, connected the dots with terrifying speed. Eleanor Shaw, 1974. Benjamin Croft, 1958. Margaret Albright, 1932. All missing persons. All first borrowers. She looked up, her face pale, to find Mr. Sterling watching her. His gentle custodian's demeanor had melted away. His posture was straighter, his gaze ancient and heavy. "You see the pattern now," he said, his voice no longer a rumble but a cold, flat statement. "It doesn't collect stories, Miss Vance. It collects readers." Quote, Alara's breath hitched. She took a step back, her shoulder brushing against the cold,